ladies and gentlemen, we also have the privilege of having here with us for the keynote address Dr. P.R. Swaroop. Dr. Swaroop is Director General Construction Industry Development Council and alumni of IIT Kanpur with a doctorate from Rajiv Gandhi Technical University, Bhopal, on evolving a workable model for assessing the business risk in construction operations. As the first CEO of CIDC, he has conceptualized and implemented several good practices in construction industry like the Construction Equipment Bank, grading of construction entities, and HRD in the construction industry. With those words of introduction, I have the privilege in inviting Dr. P.R. Swaroop for the keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Dr. Swaroop for the keynote address.
Good morning to all of you, Dr. Rana, Mr. Jain, Chandrasekhar, and all distinguished participants here. It's a privilege being here, and I was just listening to Mr. Jain, and it took me back almost about 16 years. There's something funny about history, and that is that more we progress with the passage of time, the things remain exactly unchanged. Way back in 1996, when Construction Industry Development Council came into being, one of the major issues that was basically confronting us, and which still is, and I am quite, I would say, distressed to note what Mr. Jain was talking about, that the situation has remained totally unchanged. As a student of mathematics, I did some back-of-the-palm calculations. Interestingly, the banks don't really look at the way they lend money. They don't also look at the way they manage their money. This is a very interesting situation. Insurance companies don't insure the goods, which are basically non-perishable. They would only insure the things which are perishable, and then they keep on suffering the losses and things like that. So when I looked at the overall business that was being projected by Indian Bank Association, IBA, what I realized was that credit versus deposit ratio, it was almost 45-50%. That meant half the money that gets deposited with the banks was actually safely kept with the banks only, never lent out. And that gave me a bit of a confusion, because construction industry at that point in time was basically getting onto an overdrive mode. Many new projects were coming up. The realty sector was being opened up, and there was a bit of a shift actually from the government-bound development authorities and agencies all over to the private sector, who was taking the lead in setting up the real estate. It gives a great satisfaction to see that in last about 16 years, the skylines of all the cities have changed. Private sector is very actively involved in development of real estate. But unfortunately, the situations remain same as they used to be as far as the institutional finances are concerned. A gentleman called Mr. Paneer Selvam happened to be the chairman of Indian Bank Association, and I sought for a meeting on behalf of construction industry because of the total lending that the banks used to go for. Hardly about 0.7% of the lending was coming to construction industry. Now here is the dichotomy. It is one of the largest, second largest economic activity after agriculture. It employs the second largest number of people all of us know about, and yet the lending was basically abysmal. So I went to him, and he said that, okay, you represent the real estate and construction industry, and we have no trust and faith on this industry, and that's the reason why we don't lend. That was the first brush off that was coming my way. Fortunately, I have the lineage of the Planning Commission, which happens to be the nodal organization of Government of India. So I sat down very stubbornly and started reasoning with him. And then the truth came out. They said, well, we do not understand the working dynamics of this industry, and therefore we are scared to lend to this industry. That's a fact of life, which was a very, very true statement. I said, fair enough. If that be the case, then let us sit down together and find out what are those triggers that we could create, which can give you some kind of an insight into the impending risks that are likely to come from this industry that you are so wary of. But fact of the matter is that half of the money is being kept by you, which is lying dormant, which is not earning any money. And then you go on basically charging 8 to 9% of interest. That's the kind of potential interest rates that the RBI comes out with. Presuming that there is some element of risk that the banks also start taking, calculated, measured risk, I think the interest rates can come down. We can build the assets fast, and especially as a priority sector, you have to look at a sector which provides the largest employment to people and creates the assets. So there are all the ingredients that you have to basically start lending to construction industry. Cutting the long story short, we set up a committee which comprised of all the chairmen and managing directors of all the scheduled banks. Mind you, they were not only the nationalized banks, they were also the private scheduled banks who came in there, 109 members of that. The chairman IBA presided over this particular committee, and the report came out where they admitted that yes, they need to learn and understand about the working dynamics of this industry, and they would be more than happy to lend to this particular, these kind of activities for that matter. Not understanding something is not a crime, but not trying to learn after you have realized that you do not know about the dynamics, that is something which is bad. So then they came back to me and they said, well, you got to create some triggers. So the first instrument, which basically gave an assessment of the risk, a quantitative assessment of the risk, that came out in shape of grading of construction entities. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like all of you to give a big hand to Mr. Jain, because he happened to be the first real estate company which came and got themselves graded. Is that correct, Mr. Jain? This instrument gave an insight into the possibilities of risks that an enterprise was about to pose to the lender. Unfortunately, like it happens in case of banking operations, one set of chairmen go, the second set of chairmen come in, they are absolutely not aware of it, they come from some kind of a regional kind of situation, and the whole thing continued and still continues. And one more dividend that I had been able to get personally out of that was that my research work was on that particular topic, and I was awarded a PhD for the work that I had done. This was for, the kind of making the assessment of the risk. Moral of the story here is that if the banks don't lend, if the government doesn't listen, then we have to come out with articulated solutions to them. Lobbying with the finance ministry or lobbying with the Ministry of Urban Development possibly does not take anybody anywhere. It has to be an extremely articulate, intelligent solution. That is how we have to go about. Let us put our hand together, because the realty sector is a very, very important sector. We need to really see that the kind of projected figures of 100 billion or 150 billion or even more, they are achieved, because this is what is going to be good for the nation, and that is what we must strive for. I can certainly commit the support of my council in any of the endeavors that are taken, and that will be there. Coming to another issue, which basically is an internal situation for the realty sector. Perfectly fine, we can put all the regulations in position, beautiful regulations. Perfectly fine that the banks come out and start lending money to the sector. That is also fine. But the sterling question here is, how are you going to make it? The people, the workmen, the supervisors, the fellows on the ground who are really going to make sure that the structures rise up, they are absolutely missing from the scene. There is so much of dearth of manpower. And that is something, that is another area which we all will have to look into. It's just a question of a piece of paper written which can ease out the regulations, which can grant funding to you. But money alone cannot basically make you deliver the product that you are going to be delivering to your customers. And majority of the projects today, the time and cost overrun, the sufferance that you have there is coming on account of manpower. The time is rather short, I would not dwell on it, but I am just leaving this question behind. And that's again where we would all like to be together in it. Construction Industry Development Council has been working on human resource development in real sense. The people are really trained, tested and certified and given to the industry in a very, very major way. Although the numbers still are small as compared to the requirements, we are talking of something like 40 to 60,000 odd individuals who go out to industry every year, whereas the requirement is probably about 500,000 or even more. So that is again where we have to put our hands together, and I think on that happy note that we'll be working together. I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It had been wonderful.